Student Union, North Carolina. Or the cost of 1 year at Yale, if your parents make more money than God, you buy E&R laundry and have 100 mini-fridge rentals in your dorm room. This does not include any loss of labor costs. You could be making bank as a plumber, or at least avoiding the emotional damage of seeing a failed crush and being on the 50 Hawks issue, which has never happened to me, I promise. However, I'm not going to argue this is worth it for any esoteric humanist reasons. I'm not going to argue that this is worth it because it makes you a better person, even though I think it does, or that it makes you a better citizen. I'm going to argue that this is realistically still a sound financial investment for most people, because obviously the salaries of people with college degrees are higher than those without, even when you look at specialized trade schools, and for the ambitious, because it grants you a special sort of social capital that cannot be gathered anywhere else, that allows you entry into the political and business spheres of America. Now, I'm going to focus more on politics and business. I'm not a business guy, so if you're sending out the WiseTech emails, you can take them off the list. I'm not joining your social group. But to talk about local outcomes, I'm also not going to be a member of that group. You can go outside. According to the Pew Research Center, about $30,000 is the increase that you gain if you have a bachelor's degree or more versus not having a bachelor's degree. But implicitly, we all know this. Please make a list of all the jobs you can get with a college degree. Make a list of all the jobs you can get without one. Do the median salary calculation and then get back to it. You'll find that one is higher than the other. And even when we talk about trade schools, we often phrase them as an alternative to college for people who do not excel at college. We still view a 4-year degree as the primary means of receiving education and getting a job, whereas trade school is for those who might not be best suited to that. That implies that one is a little bit more valuable than the other for placing it first and the other as an alternative. But I think the social capital point is what requires a bit more explanation. Our society views the opinions of those with college degrees as fundamentally different and more worthy of consideration than those of people without them. We simply do. If you have a college degree, we treat you as if your opinions are worthy of consideration on their own right, especially if you want to enter international political discourse. If you do not have a college degree, your opinion needs to be related to your job or your social group in order for us to value it. This is not great, but this is how it is. Let me get into the nuances here a little bit. If you want to run for office, well, all the Senate and 95% of the House has a bachelor's degree. You need one. If you want to work in politics, you better be either going through a political science degree or already have one. If you want to be a part of what Curtis Yarvin calls the cathedral, well, you need to be in journalism or academia. You need a college degree. College degrees are the gateway to a lot of power in the United States. You cannot get that power without them. Now, I do understand there's a lot of signaling and selection. It's not a lot of learning per se. But I would say that as a signaling and selection mechanism, it does work better than what the alternatives might be. We can imagine a world where mentors and VC founders go out and they look for people they think could have a lot of impact in their startup or in their organization. But we can also imagine what type of communities they would be looking in for talent and which communities they would not be looking in for talent. So I don't think the alternative is to let everyone go out and look for the shape wherever they feel. Now, fundamentally, this is about wealth and power. This is how the wealthy and powerful ensure their kids to be wealthy and powerful by making the indicator that their wealth or power requires some wealth or power. But then again, because the system has to at least pretend to be a little bit of a meritocracy, some people without wealth and power do get to go to college. I do not come from some old New England stock that is 18 generations of Yale graduates. I come from a blue-collar family and now I'm here and will now have the keys just like the rest of you do. Maybe not the same networking opportunities, I'm sorry, but I'm still not going to those mixes. College and higher education works as a signaling and selection mechanism somewhat. There is a need for reform, but the alternative is untenable. And I would ask everyone here to have some ambition and to be willing to act on that ambition. Everyone at Yale is being handed essentially the keys to the kingdom. If you want to, you can be whatever you want. Because people will give you opportunities they will just not give you otherwise. Don't believe me. Go apply for an internship and say you did nothing from the age of 18 to 22. See how far that gets you. Again, it's unfortunate, but that is how it is. And from our perspective, that makes it worse than some. I see future Supreme Court justices, activists, community organizers, protesters, representatives, and even a few presidents every day when I walk to class because partially they're brilliant and partially because they have a Yale degree. I see one of those presidents mainly in the mirror, but out of the way, and I see only one less. To most people, a college degree will be worth it. You will have a higher salary unless you chase after going to a school that you don't need to go to, and take out loans you don't need to have, and throw yourself into student debt, in which case, maybe a bad idea. But on the whole, higher education is still valuable, especially to the ambitious. For us, it is invaluable.